Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodia. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to cover the first 7 issues of the West Coast Avengers ongoing series, written by Steve Engelhart and illustrated by Al Milgrom. And this came out way back in 1985, so I was 4 years old. And this is some of the best stuff to come out from the 80s from Marvel. Like the Uncanny X-Men series, Spider-Man, X-Factor, and West Coast Avengers are some of the best stuff that Marvel was putting out back during that time, at least the stuff I enjoyed the most. And Steve Engelhart just did some really weird shit. And there's some really insane stuff in some of these stories. He did some risky stuff in the West Coast Avengers. So I'm going to tell you guys what I liked and what I didn't like about these first 7 issues. And like right off the bat, before I spoil the hell out of them, go out and read them. They're just, as I said before, some of the best stuff to come out from the 80s. And we start off, we have Hawkeye. He made a new branch of Avengers on the West Coast. The thing is that Avengers teams tend to have 6 members. He's covered 5. He has 5 members for his team, including him. And we have Hank Pym. He's trying to convince Hank to be a hero, to become Ant-Man or Giant Man or whatever incarnation of his character, but go back into being a hero so he can cover the 6 people he needs for a team. But Hank Pym just really wants to be like the tech guy, the scientist, the dude that does investigations and backup, sort of like Forge on the X-Men. He doesn't want to be in the field. So Hawkeye has to find who's going to cover the 6th spot of the team. And the story starts off with a group of robots attacking Iron Man at the beginning of the story. So Iron Man has to deal with this. Oh, there's one thing. I love the tension between Tony Stark and Hank Pym. Like Tony Stark, during a lot of the stories, he's like shitting on Hank Pym. Was like, man, don't you have any dignity? Why are you working as Jarvis for the team? Like, you're a hero. Learn to respect yourself. Stop doing these stupid things. Like, Tony's always shitting on poor Pym. So what we discover is these robots. I don't remember because I read this a couple of weeks ago. There's a signal tying these robots to this particular ship, or I don't know if the satellites picked up that they came out of the ship, something like that. But what happens is the Avengers board the ship to see what's going on, who's the one behind the attack of these robots, and it's Ultron 12. And basically in these 7 issues, we're going to have the rise and fall of Ultron 12, the best incarnation of Ultron that we're ever going to see. So Avengers go into battle against Ultron, and this is hilarious. Hawkeye has a special arrow that shoots out this type of mist, so lasers or energy blasts don't affect the team. That's really, really specific, but very handy for a battle. So Ultron puts into effect this death trap to kill off the Avengers, and Hawkeye is able to save the day. He stops the death trap. He actually destroys the mechanism using one arrow. He totally crushes it. What actually we learned previously is that Goliath, the old Power Man, he was captured by Tony Stark. He's in the West Coast Avengers installations. And a group of villains with Ultron, Ape Man, I think he's called Ape Man, I can't remember his name, start attacking to liberate and free Goliath. So I don't remember the name because this is in Spanish, so they call him Hombre Mono, but I don't remember if he was called White Gorilla or Ape Man. Like, this is pretty embarrassing. But the Avengers are attacked. They have to deal with these bad guys. And what happens is Ultron is able to liberate Goliath. And these 3 villains actually mop the floor with the poor Avengers. They get defeated. Like, Goliath steps on poor Wonder Man. That's like a brutal takedown if I ever seen one. And what happens is Ultron is able to kidnap Hank Pym for some reason. It's part of his evil plans. And Goliath kidnaps Wonder Man. And what we discover is the guy behind these 3 villains is actually Grim Reaper, and he has some insane plans. plans that we're going to get into in a little bit because it's pretty over the top. So we have 2 issues that tie into this first story arc with Vision and the Scarlet Witch series that was also written by Steve Engelhart. So the Vision and Scarlet Witch leave the Avengers at the beginning of this story. They're out of the Avengers mansion and they're looking for a house. And obviously weird stuff is going to start to happen when they move in. They're attacked by a horde of zombies at first. And oddly enough, Vision, for some reason, it has a weakness to zombies. I don't know why, but this is not the first time I've actually seen this happen. I don't know if he has probably he has problems with magic and stuff like that, but actually I've seen this happen in other stories too. So they're attacked by a horde of zombies, and what we discover is that this guy, his name is Black Talon, has like voodoo powers and stuff like that. He's working with Necra, are trying to capture Vision because they're working with Grim Reaper too. And Grim Reaper, we got all the origin story to Scarlet Witch in this particular story. The thing is that Grim Reaper has this really insane plan. Black Talon is looking amongst dead people for a person that looks as much as possible to the original Wonder Man, the way he used to be. So he's using his black magic because Grim Reaper has this really insane plan in downloading the minds of Vision and Wonder Man into this zombie and have the original Wonder Man reborn, who is actually the brother of Grim Reaper. So it's really convoluted and pretty crazy, but Grim Reaper wants to bring back his brother because he considers Wonder Man and Vision, whose mind is based off Wonder Man's mind, like aberrations of the real deal, who he considers to be like this really imperfect person, a model to follow in the world. So that's the basic premise of Grim Reaper's insane plan. So as the story progresses, if it sounds crazy or confusing, it's all product of Steve's really crazy mind. There's one moment of priceless writing here. Necra is actually, she's African American, but she's an albino. And there's like these blatantly racist lines that the way Grim Reaper treats Manape. It's really, really, like, I don't think you can write stuff like this nowadays. And, but it does sort of prove a point because he's openly racist towards Manape, and Necra's like, "Hey, I'm black, actually." He says, "No, don't worry. You're." He said, "Don't worry. I can look over that fact because your skin's white." But Necra's like, "No, I'm actually black. I'm albino." So these lines, this part is pretty priceless. As the story progresses, like we have back and forth with battles between the Avengers, Ultron, and then the Avengers get captured by Grim Reaper. And at the end of the story, obviously the Avengers are going to come out on top. It's the first story arc. They're not going to be totally destroyed. And the important thing is that Vision and Wonder Man sort of reconcile. There was some friction between both of these characters because Wonder Man feels like Vision sort of stole his life and personality, and that's sort of really awkward. And so they have a bunch of family issues. They want to resolve their crazy family issues with the supervillain brother, Grim Reaper, which at the end, Grim Reaper falls seemingly to his death. So we get into issue number 3. Now, this issue actually focuses on Tigra. Like, she's sort of morphing more and more into this cat person. She has more cat type of inclinations, and this has her worried. She gets into a little spat with Iron Man, so she bails out on the Quinjet to roam around Los Angeles. And she gets into a battle with Kraven. And this battle is actually pretty awesome. But really what this story tries to illustrate is that she's getting more and more animalistic. She's having trouble controlling her animal instincts. And sort of Hawkeye and Mockingbird jump in to try to save her life because she was actually getting totally destroyed by Kraven. Hawkeye saves her life with Mockingbird, and she gets really pissed off. It's like, why did you intervene? I was going to be able to deal with this guy. And it's like, no, we're teammates. We're trying to help you. So in the next issue, issue number 4, we have the introduction of the best, worst villain ever, Master Pandemonium. He's so stupid, but brilliant at the same time. And what happens to him in the series is just priceless. He's like the main villain to the series. Master Pandemonium and who else would it be? Graviton. So Ben Grimm arrives to the Avengers Mansion. Hawkeye, during this whole time, Ben Grimm sort of around the team. He's trying to get him on the team. To a point, he starts trolling Thing. He's like, Thing, no, I don't want to be a part of any team. He's like, no, please join. But what happens is Ben Grimm finds this lady. Her name is Firebird. She was part of a team called the Rangers. He rescues her. She was being attacked by Master Pandemonium. And Ben decides to take her to the Avengers to see if they can help her. So she tells him her whole story, that she was roaming around. I think she's from New Mexico or something like that. She was attacked by Master Pandemonium. Something about she being one of the 5 pieces. She's able to escape. And this is a priceless part of Master Pandemonium. He has, each of his limbs are demons, and when he lets go of them for them to attack, he doesn't, like, these guys are his arms. He doesn't have arms. So it's a really weird concept for a villain. So while this is happening, Hank Pym is getting these calls from Ultron. Like, it's Ultron 12 that they would battle with at first. He wants to meet him. He wants to talk to him. So Hank Thing that went to start his wrestling career in the West Coast gets attacked by Master Pandemonium because he saw him taking Firebird in. Grimm and the West Coast Avengers start a battle against Master Pandemonium. Then the next story arc, 5 and 6, is about the Tigra-centric issues, and the cat people. So I don't like them very much, but the funny thing is, like, Tigra's starting to bang with almost all the members of the team. First, in these 2 issues, she gets it on with Wonder Man, and immediately a couple pages later, she starts hooking up with Hank Pym, and like, she's worried. She tells Mockingbird, like, something's wrong with me. I'm taking advantage of all these men and stuff in my life. So the writing here is just hilarious. So Hank Pym, here's Hank getting on with Tigra. So what happens is they're going to go talk to Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell, who has a relationship with Tigra, to find out more about the cat people, because a werewolf knows about that. Like, I don't know much about Tigra's origins and the stories prior to this. So obviously, when they arrive, Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell totally flips out. They have a battle. Then they have a story with the cat people, which I care nothing about. This is sort of like the first mission. Hank Thing is sort of a member of the team. So here's the part I was telling you guys about, how Hawkeye just starts trolling Hank Thing to be a member. So it's, okay, I'll go, just this one time. And we have these adorable scenes of Ultron 12 telling Hank Pym that he's evolved beyond hating him and wants to have a relationship with his dad. And it's so adorable. And they start having father-son chats and stuff like that. So that part is just kills me. So we're going to get one of the best issues in the history of Marvel. West Coast Avengers 7. It's a tragedy. So we get the story. Another Ultron that was destroyed a while back is able to rebuild himself. I think it's Ultron 11, so this one's evil. Hank Pym is hanging out with his son, Ultron 12, and telling Hank Pym he has a need to have a relationship and maybe become a hero and maybe redefine the role of robots in the world. Takes him to his base and stuff like that, but they're attacked by Ultron 11. So Ultron 12 and 11 battle, and Ultron 12 actually gets killed trying to save Pym's life. So it's really heartbreaking. It's a sad story. But the funny thing is, no, it's not funny, but it's tragic. Like, Pym is sad. He's like, my son has died. Why has this happened to me? So on and so forth. He's crying. Dead Ultron 12. And Wonder Man tells us, like, well, we can fix him. We can put him online again. So no, just leave him alone. Like in 2 panels, it's resolved. It's okay. Leave him for dead. So I found it to be just hilarious. So I'm going to leave this video here. Guys, it was probably confusing as hell, especially the first story arc, but it's some really good stuff. Like, it's a great, fantastic look into the mindset of people from the 80s. So see you guys next time.